Hi guys, when his servant boyfriend is too innocent in bed. Jungkook, Cookie, Coo baby, come here, eat your breakfast. Jungkook's mom is shouted for him who just woke up and playing Xbox in his gaming room. But he doesn't listen, so his mom has to come and feed him with her hands while he is playing game. Sarange Oma, you are the best. Koo told his mom. Silly boy, just enjoy. I am downstairs. Call me if you need something. His mom told him, leaving with the empty plate. This is John Jungkook, the only son of Mr. John and Mrs. John, their cute child. Mrs. John don't like strangers in her home, so even if they are filthy rich, she cooks food herself and the cleaning is done by servants who came 2 days a week for their job. Evening Mr. John entered after a long business trip to his home, and his eyes got blessed, seeing his loves of life laughing. Both mother and son are sitting in living room while Cook is getting his nail painted by his mother. Cuckoo is pouting because his mom is not painting his nails to his liking. When his eyes falls on his papa, he jumped towards Mr. John. Papa, you are back. Mr. John carried Cook toward his mother, who smiled seeing her husband after a long time. She longed for her husband, but she cannot go with him, leaving their little cookie. Mr. John made Jungkook sit on the couch, and the driver came from behind with so many bags. Giving the gifts to Cookie, Mr. John told him to leave it to his room. So Jungkook with his bunny smile face took the bags to his room and opening it. Before Jungkook came back, Mr. John hugged his wife with all the love which his wife returns. Cookie came back and started complaining about his mom, so Mr. John took the nail paint and made his prince sit on the couch, and he himself kneeled down to paint Coo's toe nails. Dinner is ready, loves. Come here, Mrs. John shouted from the kitchen, while Jungkook is piggyback riding his papa, and they both made their way to the dining room. Koo showed his pretty nails to his mom, saying, "You don't have fashion sense, Mama. Look, Papa is the best." Mrs. John smiled and served the food to her favorite people. After dinner, everyone left to their rooms. Jungkook is sleeping happily, not knowing what's going in his parents' mind. Mr. John said, "Honey, please come with me this time, please. It's getting too hard without you." Mrs. John said to her husband, "But how can I leave my bunny here alone? And what about his food, his needs?" "Honey, I also care about Cook, but now he is grown up and he is gonna study in college soon. I have completed his admission procedure too," Mr. John replied, "and I thought to appoint a caretaker for him. My driver told me about a young man from village who is good with cooking and other works." Mr. John continued telling. Mr. John understood him and picked the idea through. In that way his cookie will be safe in the house too. So they both slept while thinking to tell Jungkook about this tomorrow, knowing how much chaos their cookie is gonna create. Next morning the family decided to go on shopping. The driver was driving them to a mall, and Jungkook is sitting on the passenger seat. Cookie is blabbering to the driver uncle everything he saw in the new Avengers movie. The driver was laughing hearing him and said, "I am gonna miss you a lot, little sir." Coo got confused and asked, Why are you going to quit, uncle? Yes, I want to spend my time with my family back in the village. The driver responded to him. Then they reached the mall, done a lot of shopping for little Cookie because his parents are feeling bad for leaving him alone. At night, the parents went to Jungkook's room and sat on his bed. Cookie cuddled his mom and his head on his papa's lap. They told him about their leave and that his mom is also going and about a caretaker who was going to live here from tomorrow. Jungkook listened and said, "Okay, Oma, Papa, Cookie is big now. Enjoy your life now." Because Koo has seen his mom longing for his dad and he is not going to be selfish. Both parents smiled, hearing his big talk. Their jam actually became mature now. They kissed him good night on his forehead and left for their room. Next day, Kim Taehyung, a tall, handsome, and bulky big man, is standing in front of Mr. Jeon in his study for his interview. They had came from village because of his uncle's request, who is the driver. So Mr. John is trusting him and taking the interview. Mr. John asked, "So what will you do if Cookie told you to make pizza for dinner?" Taehyung replied, "Sir, I will make healthy food and inform you." "No, no, you big meanie. You gotta listen to what Cuckoo said and not complain to Papa." Cookie replied while sipping on his Nana Milky, sitting on Mr. John's lap while glaring at the soul of Taehyung. Mr. John laughed and said, "Listen to our prince and take care of him. I am trusting you, young man." He stood up and patted Taehyung's shoulder and walked towards outside. Kuku followed him, but not before glaring at Taehyung and saying "Meanie." They laughed, seeing the cute boy he had given a room in the mansion itself and informed about his work list too by Mrs. Jones. They was setting his clothes but stopped listening to a knock on the door. He opened and found Cookie, who said, "Dinner, dinner, Mimi, come, Oma waiting for you." They watched the little bunny jumping and leaving while sipping the Nana milk happily. "He is so cute." He found out it's his favorite. They made his way to the dinner table and Mrs. John told him to take a seat, but he got conscious because he is a servant of them. But Mrs. Jones said, "Sit down, kid. I don't like to repeat," and they all treated him like a family. Meanwhile, Cookie is still stuck on his Meanie, now Meanie plus Hyungi. They laid on bed while smiling about Jungkook's little complaints. He liked it here and he's gonna take care of little master very well. Next morning, Jungkook is hugging his papa and mama because they are leaving finally and they are left for airport in their car. After bidding them bye, Taehyung and Cookie came back. But stop! Cookie suddenly shouted because he wants ice cream. Taehyung got surprised but listened to him. "What flavor would you want, little master?" "I want double scoop mint choco with star sprinkles." "Okay, wait here," Taehyung said and paid for the ice cream by the card Mr. John gave him today. After giving the ice cream to Jungkook, they started the car and made way back to the home. Taehyung is from village, but he knows driving. His uncle teached him before. Now Cookie is laying upside down on the couch while Taehyung in the kitchen. They asked, "Little master, what would you want for lunch?" "I am not hungry." "But little master, you cannot be hungry. Tell me please. Just make whatever you want. Okay, I will make something healthy." This mini Hungi, what he thinks of himself. I am gonna teach him a lesson. Cookies thought in his mind. During lunch, Jungkook told Tae to eat with him because he don't like to eat alone. After 3 weeks, they lived normally. Taehyung doing the work and Cookie messing around house here and there. Every day, Cookie will call his Oma and complain about Taehyung to her. Now Cookie is thinking of pranking Tae, so he was sipping on banana smoothie Tae has made, and when he watched Taehyung is coming, he dropped the glass intentionally on the floor. Now they come running to see what had happened. Oops, it fell by mistake, Hyungi said, feigning innocence. They said, Little master, you please stay back, I will clear it. They started picking the glass pieces with his hands, and suddenly one piece pricked on his skin and cutted Taehyung's hand. Koo sighed and said, Hyungi, wait, I will bandage it, while running to take first aid kit. When he came back, Taehyung was still doing the work, which made Jungkook feel bad. He pulled Taehyung's hand and put bandage around it and told him to rest. But Tae was stubborn and decided to cook dinner for Jungkook. Kyu came to the kitchen and saw Taehyung was working with one hand very messily. He did not like it. Tae was hissing while cooking and looking so pathetic to Jungkook. He ran to his bed and cried in pillow, feeling bad. It is my fault, he thought. Kuko is bad boy. When Taehyung came to call him for dinner, he silently followed today without any sin. After dinner, Jungkook called his mom and told her to scold Taehyung and order him to not do any work before healing. At night, they got call from Mr. Jeon and he told him to take rest and they can order food from outside for some times strictly. So Taehyung listened to Mr. Jeon's order. Next morning, Jungkook did not mess anything inside the house. After that incident, Tae and Cook came closer. Koo listened to whatever Taehyung told him. Now Jungkook is on his knees on the soft rug in the living room doing his college work, and Tae is sitting beside him coloring the art book Jungkook gave him. When Tae always followed him and even sat for hours beside him doing nothing, Jungkook gave Taehyung book to time pass. Now Jungkook made a mistake and Taehyung saw it and told him to correct it. Jungkook got shocked and asked, Hyungi, how much you have studied? Tell me. So, Taehyung replied, Little master, I have finished my school, but after that I started doing field work. Oh Hyungi, what about admission in your online college? Like me, Koo suggested. But little master, I don't have that much money. Taehyung replied, You don't worry Hyungi, I will do it. And Koo asked Tae for his certificates and after a few hours, he finally admitted Tae in a college with his papa's card. While Mr. John got shocked to see a large amount of transaction in his card by Cookie and thought to ask him later. Now Tae and Cookie both finished their classes in midday together and spent time with each other both. Today Tae is fussing over Koo to not make the living room because Koo had told him his friend is coming for lunch. Tae wants everything clean for the guest. The doorbell ringed and Taehyung opened the gate welcoming Kim Sokjin, aka Jungkook's friend, aka Jungkook's Hyung. Jungkook and Jin's parents are family friends and hence, from childhood, Koo loved to play with Jinny Hyungi. Jin entered and Koo hugged him tightly and said, Hyungi, you came. Where is my favorite cake? He asked, happily jumping here and there. Oi, are you not happy to see me? You just want the cake? Jin asked to the jumping bunny. Hyungi, I love to see you here. Now give me my cake, please. Koo pouted and Jin squished his chubby cheeks and forwarded his bag towards Taehyung, who was standing, while saying, please serve it after lunch or else this Bunny will finish it all now. Tae nodded his hand and made his way to the kitchen. Now Jungkook and Jin both began eating the lunch, but they had not sat, even when Jungkook insisted, saying, "I will eat later, little master." Jin got impressed by Taehyung's cooking so much and before leaving, gave Taehyung his card and said, "Taehyung, you have a great talent in cooking, and whenever you need a new job, please call me. I have a cafe." "No, Taehyung is mine only. He made food for Cookie only," Ko declared to Jin, taking Taehyung's hand in his hand. Jungkook, Jin laughed seeing his possessiveness and bid them goodbye. Tae at night in his bed feels tingles in his hand due to Koo's touch and his tone of saying, "Taehyung is mine." He can hear it again and again in his ears. He thought about all Koo's doings, his loving nature, kind nature, his beautiful soul. Koo has done so much for him. He treat him equal, even make him wish of studying fulfilled, and his bunny smile. "I'm in love with little Cookie," he thought, and smiled his boxy smile. Meanwhile, Cookie is in bed feeling jealous. Everybody likes his Taehyung. Why is so nice? He should be nice only to Cookie. I should do something fast to make him mine complete. He thought a plan and slept. Next morning, Hyungi, Koo shouted from his bedroom so loudly. They came running to check on him, but got shocked because Koo is nowhere. Seeing bathroom's door closed, he thought Koo will be there. He folded Koo's blanket and arranged his room, waiting for him. He heard the door unlocking sound and turned. "Little master, you..." Taehyung's brain stopped functioning, seeing Jungkook's state, because he is in his bathroom only, and coming towards Tae, who took steps backward. "Hyungi, what happened? You were saying something?" Koo asked innocently, while mentally laughing, seeing Taehyung's shocked and freezed body state. Tae suddenly sat back on bed and Koo stood in front of him. So Koo's chest is in front of Tae's face as Koo is short in height. His big oranges in Taehyung's V, who is dysfunctioning. Jungkook put his hand on Taehyung's shoulder and said, "Hyungi, you wanted to say something to Cookie?" he asked. No, the breakfast is ready. Come downstairs after changing," Taehyung said and stood up and left from there running. Jungkook laughed and fell on bed, seeing Taehyung's tomato red face. Hyungi also feels the same way towards me, Jungkook thought in his mind. Tae downstairs is thinking what he saw just now. He is curious about Cookie's big because he saw this first time and don't have any knowledge. In village schools, people are not that open, so he does not even have basic knowledge about. Jungkook came downstairs wearing a deep neck oversized t-shirt with shorts which get covered under his t-shirt. He came and sat at dinner table. They began serving, so he intentionally pushed himself more to Taehyung's side. Tae's eyes fell down and he again saw that chubby skin and felt the urge to capture it with his hands and press it hardly. They both silently ate the food, and today Jungkook made his plan solid to be with Taehyung at night in his bed in his own room. He was in for about 3 hours in the bathroom to prepare himself. After dinner, he called Taehyung to his room. Tae came and Jungkook laid down on the bed and said, "Hyungi, let's watch movie." He smiled towards Taehyung, who nodded. Tae nodded because he can't deny Cook. Tae remembered his friend used to tell him about his girlfriend, who have big uppy body and his friend loved it. They do not know why his friend loved it, but now after seeing Koo's body he know why he loved it, because he also loved it. Now they sat on the bed watching movie and Jungkook put his head on his lap. After some time, to see Taehyung's reaction, Koo deliberately moved his hand on Taehyung's leg but no response. He sat up and leaned his head on Taehyung's chest and looked through his lashes towards Tae. Hyungi, kiss me, he whispered to Tae. No, Cookie, what are you saying? I cannot do this, Tae replied. But why not? Koo asked. Because only married people do it. You silly boy, Tae whispers to Jungkook, as if telling a secret while blushing. But Hyungi, lovers also kiss each other. Koo said, you and your silly city people talks cooking. They laughed off Jungkook's words. They both got silent afterwards and the movie ended. When Tae stood up to leave, Jungkook pulled his hand and Tae landed on his back on the bed. His eyes widened as Jungkook climbed on top of him. Cookie, let me go. The movie had ended. Taehyung said, feeling weird in between his legs. Hyungi, tell me, don't you love me? Koo asked, moving closer to Taehyung's lips. Tae got surprised because he loves Koo and then nodded his head. Word, I want worse, Taehyung, Jungkook said. Yes, Koo, I love you. Taehyung dared to confess his feelings. Jungkook smiled so widely hearing that and said, so kiss me, Hyungi, show your love. But we are not married, Taehyung confessed. He can't change his belief just in few days. He had grown up in a village environment. But we are lovers and lovers do kiss, Koo whispered on his lip and finally kissed Taehyung. They both stayed unmoving because both are unexperienced. Koo then slowly moved his lips. Tae followed his lead. Heavily breathing, Koo sat back on top of Taehyung and smiled. Then his eyes fell on Taehyung's bobbing throat, and he opened his mouth and sucked. Taehyung heard Tae, feeling pleasure, moaned suddenly. Hyungi, I am loving you, Koo replied. Taehyung did not understand. It's all new for him. Koo tapped on his neck until feeling satisfied. Then he slowly pulled Taehyung's big head and put his hand. Koo is now wearing only his t-shirt. Tae's hand twitches, feeling softness under his palm. He daringly, gently. Koo looked into his eyes, feeling good. Tae then got more curious and pressed his hand, and Koo opened his mouth wide in feeling surprise. With surprise, seeing Koo's reaction, Tae felt between his legs. He then dared to put his another hand on Koo's and kept pressing it, loving Jungkook's reaction. Koo suddenly trembled hard and fell on Taehyung's chest, feeling very sensitive. Now, Koo can feel himself. Looks like he feels suddenly shy and he know they also can feel. So Koo trembled. Taehyung patted his back and hugged him in his arms and asked, what happened, Koo baby? Tell me. So, oh my, he is so innocent, Jungkook thought. Hyungi, I felt so good with you and this happened due to this, Koo replied. Taehyung smiled as he made Jungkook feel good. But he can still feel pain in his body. He asked Koo about it innocently. Koo stared at his eyes and said, Hyungi, I will help you. Don't worry, it's a way to show love between lovers. Then Jungkook removed hand he front of Tae, who with big eyes stared at Jungkook. It's his first time seeing such thing. Then Jungkook told him to remove. Tae silently followed. Tae silently followed Jungkook. Then touched Taehyung's and moved his hand. here and there. Their whole focus is on Jungkook's hand movement. He pushed his head back due to so much. He is so sensitive, and after few minutes, Taehyung also done finishing. Koo then felt on top of Taehyung and Taehyung felt sticky, so he removed his cloth. Tae and Koo cuddled whole night and Koo forgot to call his parents good night. His parents are worried for him, mostly his mom. They have to tell Koo a good news too, that he is gonna be a big brother now. But Koo and Tae did not respond to that. So Mrs. John insisted to go back home and they boarded the plane at night. Next evening when they came home, they saw both Jungkook and Taehyung together in living room studying. So, seeing his parents, Jungkook jumped happily towards his dad and hugged his mom. They settled and Taehyung came and served them drinks. They made dinner happily and then he heard voice coming from Jungkook's dad's study where Koo is getting scolded by Mr. John due to his overspending. He did not tell his dad that Tae's college feels or else his papa will be more angry. They had dinner happily and in Jungkook's room the parents informed him good news and Koo became happy hearing that. Next day, Koo's dad told him about his meeting with his friend who likes Jungkook for his son. They both are thinking to make Jungkook and his dad's friend's son marriage. But hearing this, Koo shouted, "No, never, I will not marry anyone. Taehyung is my only love." They came hearing loud voices and heard it and looked towards angry Mr. John and a very shocked Mrs. John. Mrs. John got angry and said something harsh to Jungkook. "If you love this servant, then leave from my house right now." Jungkook's heart broke hearing his papa's word and he cried out loudly. They came and holded his hand and said, "Koo, it's okay, Hyungi is here." Mr. John looked at Jungkook very angrily and left to his room. Mrs. John kissed Jungkook's forehead, who had decided to leave the house, and gave him his apartment keys. Koo packed his bag with Taehyung and they both left for Jungkook's apartment. Jungkook is feeling sad as his dad did not accept his love as he expected. Tae and he both entered the new place and Tae made Jungkook eat the food he had packed from the John mansion. Tae is feeling sad because of him. Jungkook had to leave his parents' home, so he decided to make Jungkook happy, the most unlucky person. He will do anything to let Jungkook be the prince he is. So, and proves that Jungkook's decision of leaving his parents for his love is not wrong, and Jungkook does not regret their love. The end. Also, watch next the story